Welcome to No Fun Channel. I'm Felix, and this is sci-fi shows I think they should remake. Next up is The Greatest American Hero. The Greatest American Hero premiered March 18th, 1981, and ran to February 2nd, 1983. It had a total of 45 episodes, 5 unaired episodes. I actually didn't know about the 5 unaired. It starred William Katt as teacher Ralph Hinckley. In later episodes, the name was supposed to have been changed to Ralph Hanley, but I still remember them calling him Hinckley. I don't remember them changing the name. And that was because President Reagan got shot, and the guy's name was John Hinckley. John Hinckley Jr. And they didn't want that associated. But it also starred Robert Culp as FBI agent Bill Maxwell, who some of you may know from an older TV show called I Spy with Bill Cosby. The character Bill Maxwell knows Ralph's identity as the superhero. And then it also stars Connie Selica, who played Pam Davison, the teacher's girlfriend / wife. I believe in the beginning she starts off as a girlfriend, fiance, and then wife. But it's kind of like it just kind of happens kind of deal. I honestly don't remember a wedding or anything. So it was kind of like all of a sudden it was his wife. Now, the premise of the show is Ralph is a school teacher at one of those wayward schools. You know, he has the bad kids. And on his way home one night after teaching, he winds up in a spot broken down and an alien ship appears. Well, Bill is actually out there as well. He's supposed to be meeting with the aliens. I believe he was supposed to get the suit, but they end up giving it to Ralph, and they tell Ralph, here's the suit, here's the instruction manual, and you and Bill have to work together and fight crime. And right off the bat, they lose the instruction manual. And so now he has no clue how to use a suit, and it's just trial and error trying to figure out how to use a suit. And that's part of the hilarity of the show. This is really a dramedy. It had a serious moment, but it was trying to be funny as well. The suit could do all kinds of things. One, the obvious things were, he had Superman powers like super strength, super speed, and flight. And one of the running gags in the show is that he's not very good at flying or landing, and he just keeps crashing over and over and over again. And that's pretty much the premise of the show. And believe it or not, that actually worked because it had some pretty decent writing. They didn't have a villain, like a main villain throughout the whole thing. And it just worked. I think what it was the humor of it. They had a good sense of humor. The timing was right. All 3 characters worked well together. And it stayed on for 3 years. And it actually got a movie as well 3 years later. So 3 must be the lucky number for him or something. But I just remember liking the show. I even rewatched it not too long ago and just sat there and binged watched it with my kids. And they liked it too, just because it was a show that didn't take itself serious. And I think that's one of the appealing aspects of this show. It was a superhero show that didn't take itself. That's probably also why I like the TV show The Tick, because it's not a serious show. And this was right there with it. It's like, it's not a serious show. It was fun, lighthearted. It had a serious moments. But in the end, you got a nice laugh at it with some drama thrown in. So it was like it was a comedy with drama. I wouldn't say it's one of those 80s, 90s drama or comedy shows that decided to be serious. This was a show that was pretending to be serious, but was funny all the way. Well, like I said, at the beginning, they lost the instruction manual. I do remember they got to another instruction manual, and then they lost that one too. I remember the episode he shrunk. The instruction manual said he could shrink, so he shrunk. And he sits the book down and starts to grow. They're like, no! And that's that. The book is gone. Now, one of the things when I was researching this I didn't know is that the show actually got sued by Warner Brothers. They stated it was too close to Superman. But when the judges looked at it, they threw it out saying no. Apparently, this is more, they said it's actually more related to Green Lantern than Superman because it's a normal human getting superpowers, which makes sense. And also something else I learned is the symbol on the chest. when I was a kid, whenever I looked at that symbol, I did think of scissors, and apparently it's based on scissor handles. Now, they hadn't had a symbol yet, and one of the artists picked up a pair of scissors, turned them upside down, and said, "There's your symbol." And that's how that came to be. I also found out in Hong Kong, the symbol actually resembles a character for a center. So the name of the show became the Flying Red Center Hero. So I learned something new researching this, which I thought was interesting. But the fact that it's based on scissor handles kind of caught me off guard, and not just kind of like, oh, that's why it made me think of scissors. Now, like I said at the beginning, it did get a TV movie. It was called The Greatest American Heroine. It was going to be a female character lead. It was going to take over. Basically, the movie starts off as that Ralph's identity has been exposed. Pretty much everyone knew he was the greatest American hero. He was just bad at hiding it. No one ever said anything just because it was a good thing. And the secret's out, and he starts living the life of a famous person. Only problem is the aliens don't like that. So they tell him to find someone else, and we'll erase the world's memory, and then only people that remember are you, Pam, and Bill. And so they set out to find someone else, and they actually come across Holly Hathaway, a school teacher. So they were definitely trying to keep the school teacher thing going. And that was played by Mary Ellen Stewart. And she played Holly Hathaway, an elementary school teacher. So this time the kids are younger instead of teenagers. But in the show, they were trying to also keep the same premise that she wasn't very good at using the suit. And I don't remember them giving her an instruction manual at all. So she was just on her own trying to figure it out. But basically they hand the suit over to her. Bill sticks around and helps her out. And Ralph and Pam drive off into the sunset. And it was supposed to be an attempt at getting a new series going. So in 1986, they were trying to get a new series based on this, and it just didn't pan out. From what I understand, the movie did okay, but not well enough to be like, hey, let's greenlight a new TV show. And so that fell through. Now, since the TV movie, there have been a few attempts to try to get it back on the air. There was even an attempt to do comic books. I think I found some images where it looked like guest starred on some DC comic book stuff, but nothing's ever really panned out. William Catt was actually behind the efforts trying to get something going with it. Obviously, he was a huge fan of the show. He was the main actor, so he was trying to get something going. Now, Connie Selica, William Catt, and Mary Ellen Stewart are still around. Robert Culp passed away March 21st, 2010. I believe he died of cancer, actually. But, yeah. So they're still around, so they can still do something. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't recall seeing them much and stuff. I don't know how active they still are. But it still says they're all three still active acting. So if I was to bring this back, you could really pick up where it left off, where Holly Hathaway is still, well, no, because she's much older now. It could be Holly maybe passed the suit on to someone else, and they've lost track of the suit. Now, that could be the premise, and the aliens are like, hey, where's the suit? And they're like, I don't know. So that could be one premise, is that they got to go find the suit and find someone new to wear it. And say they find the suit in a costume shop, they get it, find someone new to wear it, and that's the storyline. Or the other option is still picking up where it left off. Holly, is the last person to wear it, and the aliens actually came back and took it. Pretty much because the aliens have given up on humanity. But some things have happened to where they think humanity might be able to be saved. So they say, here's the suit. You three have to go find someone to wear the suit. We're going to leave it up to you. And if they went that way, I would say ditch the teacher. They shouldn't just have it be a teacher. I'm not sure why they went with teacher both times. But they could have it be a janitor. They could have it be... if they wanted to be someone who works with kids, I kind of get that, showing that they have a softer side. They could be a counselor or janitor at a school or anything like that. But And anyone can wear the suit, as they've shown, because the male and female have worn it. So they could go that route and just randomly pick someone and go from there. And if they wanted to be part of the show, bring back those 3 characters, they could all 3 be part of the show, like helping the new person learn how to use the suit. And of course, the other way is a whole new cast. But if they go the whole new cast route, one of the things I suggest they get rid of is the high school students, because they were stereotypes all the way around. That much I do remember. They had the stereotype Italian, stereotype Hispanic, stereotype black person, stereotype white girl who has a bad home. It was just stereotype all the way around. So ditch all that. They can just be, he could be a teacher at a school, just, struggling students, and they don't have to be bad students, just struggling students. But they could go that route, and they could still gender swap. Instead of Ralph, call her Renee or something like that. Instead of Pam, Paul, just something like that. And Bill, you could flip a coin. Wouldn't necessarily have a gender swap, or just flip a coin and pick the best actor or actress for that part. But yeah, I would love to see this show get a second chance. I don't see shows where they have the hero trying to be a hero, but it's not straight up satire. This wasn't, to me, this didn't feel like satire was poking fun at the hero industry. This was a guy who was reluctant, actually. He was like, why me? And so he decides he's going to do it. And so I think that's what they should go with, is that, he's still reluctant, or he or she is still reluctant, and they get the suit and they go for it. And, he has the 2 partners there with him, helping him out. Now, also, if they decide to go that route, one thing they could do is still bring in Holly. They could have Ralph gets injured, can't wear the suit, and Holly comes along and the suit chooses her, and so she takes up the mantle and becomes the new hero. And one of the other aspects that I would like them to lose is the instruction manual incident. I want them to keep the instruction manual, because I want them to, with the instruction manual, I would want them to figure out how to use the suit, and not just that, still have trouble using the suit, because it's all based on mental powers or something like that. If I remember correctly, that's basically what you did, is mental powers, you use the suit. But maybe figure out in the book, figure out that, hey, we can duplicate the suit, and they can both be in the show. So you can have, Holly, Pam, Bill, and Ralph all together in the series. And you could have Holly from the beginning show up. And you could actually start to show off is that Ralph has already been doing this for a while, and Holly shows up, and they kind of do a flashback to how Ralph got the suit, and Holly helps him out, and then Holly gets the suit, and then they duplicate the suit, and they're both out there fighting crime. So you could have like a Superman, Supergirl scenario, and they're out there fighting crime. Actually, even if they went with picking up where it left off, they could still do that. They could have a scenario like that where the suit chooses 2 people and it splits in 2. Now there's 2 suits, male and female. So that would solve that problem. But yeah, and as for comic books, I did try to see if I could find any more comic books on it. I couldn't. Now, me personally, I couldn't find them if they're out there. I found looked like artwork, but I'm not sure if they were actually sold. So that's one thing. But The Greatest American Hero is definitely a show I enjoy watching. Like I said, I recently rewatched it and had fun watching it. And 3 of the 4 main actors are still around, so they could appear in it. Even if they did a remake with a whole new cast, they could still show up in it. They could play parents or just people, guest starring. And, a lot of times I suggest even have them come back as villains. They were the good guys, now they're the villains. But I don't know, William Catt, bring him back to that show as a villain would work, because like I said, he was a fan of the show, and he still goes to conventions to meet with people. I don't think Connie Selica has done any conventions to my knowledge, but yeah, I think it would be interesting to bring this back and have all 3 of them there, if they would all be interested in some capacity. Like I said, it could be parents, they could be this, it could be that, and they could be the bad guy. If they wanted to play the bad guy, play the villain, they could. But definitely would like to see it come back. I like that sense of humor that the show had. Obviously be updated for a modern audience because, like I said, they had stereotype characters for the students. Ditch that. And I think they'd be good to go. Well, that's my take on remaking The Greatest American Hero. Take care.